Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all doing fantastic. Hope you're all having a wonderful day and that you're all doing great. Don't forget to subscribe to my second channel called Money Rules. There's a link in the description below, and without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Yay! Optimism seems to be the name of the game, at least for right now, but it could go for the long term. For those of you who missed it, you shouldn't have, because it's like major news. Like, people are still talking about it because it's kind of crazy. Yeah, the Fed lowered interest rates by 0.5 point, and since that very moment, apparently the only way is up, or up is the only way, or money keeps going up. I don't know. But everyone assumes that there's going to be some super cool, awesome, mega, ultra price movements happening within the cryptocurrency space. The news today, one of the popular news stories, is from Standard Chartered, who has forecasted a long-term bullish trend for Bitcoin in light of the Fed's interest rate cuts. Yeah. So it looks like, at least according to news from today and yesterday and the day before, and I can only assume the news that's going to be happening in the further future, everyone's re-bullish again. Yeah, even all like the really weird cryptocurrency analysts who were on Twitter talking about that prices needed to go back down to 20,000. Apparently there is not. Apparently things are about to get ripping and a-roaring. This feels very similar, if I can. This feels very similar to a number of years ago. There was, I forgot when it was. Cryptocurrency prices were trending sideways. It was very weird. Nothing was moving. Like, at all. Like, you thought like this summer was bad. Like, the prices, like, they were literally going sideways. Like, Bitcoin would go down by 0.15% and go up by 0.07. It was the weirdest thing in the entire world. A whole bunch of negative, I'll call them that, negative cryptocurrency analysts and enthusiasts. Bitcoin's going down to $100. It has to fall down to 3,000. It's the only way we can go up. And then out of nowhere, everyone was like, this is it. Here we go. And then prices actually did start going back up. It was the weirdest thing in the entire world. According to Standard Chartered's report, macroeconomic factors could drive cryptocurrency prices higher, irrespective of the U.S. elections in November. For those of you who do not know, if you get a chance, go look at the charts. After every election has finished, regardless of who won, prices across all markets tend to go a lot higher. Every election is a, what do you call it? Like a coin toss. Like, no one knows where it's going to land. And usually just the relief of someone actually, like, you know, like not having to deal with the election in that time frame anymore, prices always tend to rally. Macroeconomically, the world's still not doing too hot. However, according to the CPI data and the other charts and the other things that we've been getting and seeing from a number of governments, the information that they shared with us, apparently things are on the up and up, or can be on the up and up, or things might start getting a lot better. China has economic woes, but apparently these can be fixed in the next couple of years if they kind of tighten everything and get it together. Japan's not doing too hot, but with proper interest rate rises and other economic shifts, they could do better. India's still ripping and roaring. There's like 1.3 billion people there. Their economy is expected to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, over the course of the next decade or 2 decades. What else is there? There's a whole bunch of other things, like things aren't great, but they look like they could get better as time ends up going on. The big, gigantic elephant in the room is November. Everyone's waiting for the election to be over so that we can actually see world markets kind of once again breathe a sigh of relief. If you get a chance, look at crypto or like Bitcoin's money charts. After every election, prices begin to rally just because everyone's like, okay, we can move on from that. Following the Federal Reserve's 50 basis point rate cut, the Bitcoin and altcoin markets demonstrated robust performance. Standard Chartered noted, saying Standard Chartered is terrible. It should be Standard Charted, Standard Chart, Standard Charts. Standard Chartered is diabolical. Standard Chartered noted, digital assets are topping performance rankings post the FOMC meeting for the first time in a long time. Yeah, for those of you who don't know or didn't hear before, this has officially been our worst performing post-halving ever, which also doesn't make any sense with all the massive accumulation that we've been seeing. So some people on Twitter I saw are still skeptical that, that prices are manipulated. There's still discussions ongoing. If you didn't see the video about 5 days ago, a lot of people think there's some kind of collusion going on between BlackRock and Coinbase and paper Bitcoin. None of that substantiated, but everyone's kind of questioning. You guys accumulated 1 million Bitcoin in 4 months. Why would prices go down, or why are we not over 200K already? There's just a lot going on, but it looks like, the optimism is flowing back. It is very nice to see. We also had news a couple of days ago that the like small wallets are like back. So people who like bought Bitcoin and then sold it, a lot of these wallets have been, if you will, reactivated, and now they're beginning to like accumulate small amounts of Bitcoin again, which is usually one of the indicators that the market is kind of coming back. It's usually when retail begins to slug their way back in. In a newly published report, Standard Chartered highlighted that macroeconomic dynamics could lead to an upswing in cryptocurrency prices. The recent decision by the Fed to cut interest rates by 50 basis points has catalyzed a significant boost in Bitcoin and in altcoins. The report suggests that this financial maneuver could set the stage for sustained growth in the digital asset market, amongst other markets as well. We are currently at the point where, because, we can't have anything nice for a while, everyone has to go to the next thing. People are trying to figure out if they're going to further lower interest rates in November and or December. The idea being that would be a further catalyst for all prices to go back up. Yeah, it's always nice to see the optimism there. It's always nice to see so-and-so. There's a lot of price predictions popping up for Bitcoin again. I try to remain as in the center as possible. I'm not going to be bearish, but I'm also, and I say this, nicely, I'm also not going to get my hopes up for anything crazy, simply because when the market moves, the market moves. It kind of, does it nearly on its own accord. But I think that was part of the issue for the summer when we were going over the news literally every day or every other day. There was a lot of Bitcoin's going to 100K, but it's the same thing that I showed you recently in another video. Every day, there's constantly news that XRP is going to $12. XRP is going to $27. XRP is going to $521.49 next Thursday. Over and over and over. So who knows? I know the excitement is there, but I think when we're over 85 to 90,000, that's when I'm going to be okay, now we can, the bull market's back. But that's that's just me personally. Yeah, people still talking about the Fed. That's the Fed interest rate cuts apparently has reignited optimism about being on the planet again. And yeah, let's move on. In also popular news, you're going to have to explain this one to me because I don't know how this news constantly ends up being popular, like this specific kind of news. A bank in Brazil called Nubank, Nubank, has abruptly halted trading of their Nucoin, Nucoin cryptocurrency, citing a need to protect users from potential market volatility. Years ago, there were a lot of banks, as we've gone over before, who announced that they were going to be creating their own coin, their own crypto, their own whatever. A major problem ended up being is that no one wanted these coins, and B, they weren't really going to be interoperable in any sort of way. C, what ended up happening is that we had a bunch of what they call neobanks, like brand new banks for the future. The idea basically being these banks not only deal in paper currency, but they also deal in crypto. They're a new bank, neobank, if you will. And a lot of these new banks, crypto neobanks, began to create their own cryptocurrencies. I won't say that it's a cash grab, but it's a grab of the cash is a nice way of saying it. So many companies, and I can say this as I've been here for just about 17 decades in this market at this point. A lot of companies enter the cryptocurrency space and it's not that they don't understand it so much as they don't really want to pay attention to it. For instance, remember recently there was a news story. Oh gosh, it wasn't the Visa MasterCard thing. There was some company who just announced they were getting into the crypto space and they were going to be doing so by creating their own coin. Anytime that you hear that any project is getting into the space or someone's entering crypto and they're trying to create a new coin, it's a cash grab. If you wanted to help, I'm thinking of multiple things, but the first one that popped into my head was Sony, but also like celebrities creating coins or crypto projects, red flag. The one from Sony, for those of you who missed it, is that they're partnering with Coinbase and a bunch of other whatever to try and get people to use their chains and to use this coin and to use this thing that's also happening in an effort to say that they're trying to help Ethereum, or they're making a new layer for this that eventually could help Bitcoin, or this is going to, and the way that you could help is by actually like helping developers further develop Ethereum or further develop Bitcoin or make a proper side chain as opposed to a new layer and a brand new coin that's only going to benefit the actual company. Long story short is that 99.9% of these things end up failing. A lot of them end up being corporation coins, like I've warned you about over the last 6 or 7 years. And Solana is also a corporation coin. Did all of you forget its ties to FTX? And the reason why it became popular in the first place is because FTX held a lot of it. And then we found out that they held a huge portion, like mathematical percentage of Solana. And they had been doing it for a while with a number of other companies. Of course you did, because people always like to forget that kind of stuff. Solana is also a corporation coin. So apparently they stopped trading and basically usage of their coin on the platform because no one's using it. We have enough coins. We don't need any more coins. Remember 2 weeks ago when I gave a standing ovation to Tether? Tether announced that they're going to be putting their coin on other chains, and they currently have no prospect for creating their own blockchain. We don't need any more chains. We don't need any more coins. We have more than enough in the ecosystem already. Let's work on fixing, promoting, and helping these ecosystems so that they can continue their whatever that they're doing. But this was also, of course, popular news. Digital fintech Nubank is closing its cryptocurrency, suspending immediately all trading within its app. In a blog post, Nubank said it has decided to cease its purchase and sale of its cryptocurrency to prevent market volatility. adding that those holding at least, you have to have at least 1,745 new coins to be able to redeem them at all. So if you have 1,744, you're out of luck. You have until the 9th of December to be able to do this. Those who do not redeem their tokens by this deadline will still be able to use them for various in-app benefits. They said, and I quote, "From now on, the ability to buy and sell new coins within the app will no longer be available. Trading has been suspended, and new coins will only be used for redeeming benefits and products within the app." End quote. And they signed it to Nubank at the bottom. These things are garbage, and they've been garbage from the very beginning. The only thing that flushes them out is a bear market, or prices going down, or prices going sideways. Historically, it's the way that it's always been. A company enters the space, they tell you how awesome and amazing and fantastic cryptocurrencies are and how much they love Bitcoin. But wait, we're creating our own coin. The coin ends up being garbage. No one ends up using it. The coin ends up disappearing. It's the same cycle over and over and over and over and over again. Yeah, this was also, and I don't want to use the word popular. It was well spoken about, if you will. Yeah, this will happen probably forever. It's always a cash grab. People looking for a way to say, hey, use our coin. That was the thing I was telling you about before with Coinbase and what do you call it? And their base chain and all these other things. It's always just to try and get people to spend money on their platforms. And they can lie as much as they want about caring about actual decentralization, but it usually ends up being a lie. That's the Nubank news. And yeah, let's move on. Also, in very popular news, like I get it, but it's also, it's not that it's not fantastic. But I feel like people keep focusing on the wrong things, and I don't know, maybe there's like some other narrative that I'm just not paying attention to personally. Japanese investment firm Metaplanet is in the news for the 38th time this year. Metaplanet has acquired another 38 Bitcoin, worth around $2 million. As I told you before in another video, I don't know why people keep doing this. For some reason, people keep writing like this decimal place right here and then extending the number one place as well. So on a lot of different articles around, it looks like Metaplanet has purchased 38,464 Bitcoin. No, they purchased 38.46 Bitcoin. So that always ends up like rallying a lot of people as well. Because if you look on Twitter, a lot of people don't read. They look at the article title and then they spread that around. So a lot of people many times this year keep writing that Metaplanet just bought 14,000 Bitcoin. Metaplanet just bought 38,000 Bitcoin. And it's like, nope. The purchase brings the Tokyo-listed company's total Bitcoins holdings to 398. The problem is if you're looking at the screen or not looking at the screen, once again, the decimal place, and they went one number further. So it looks like they now hold 398,832 Bitcoin. Why do people keep writing the number this way? All the Bitcoin they have is currently valued at around 26 million US dollars. The company's decision to expand their Bitcoin reserve comes amidst growing confidence in the cryptocurrency. It's basically because even that's also incorrect. For those of you who didn't get it or weren't here before, Metaplanet announced that they're basically accumulating Bitcoin because the Japanese yen is doing terribly and there's no current indications of it doing any better, but also inflation. That tends to be a major thing. There was just an article that was floating around where people were discussing how normal people are figuring out what inflation is and how bad inflation is and how inflation is terrible for your wallet. And any money you have in the bank loses value every single year because you have it in the bank and it's not making you any money. The bank is charging you to have your money there. And you also, you get the general idea. So when any company tends to dip their toe into crypto, they tend to announce that they're doing it because of inflation, or they don't really care for the current system, or whatever the answer usually is. So cool. Metaplanet will probably be in the news in another week, because this is what always happens. Metaplanet is like very heavy in the news. A lot of people love them for some reason now. Not that you shouldn't love them, but like they're doing what other companies have been doing since like 2015. So cool. That's the Metaplanet has bought 38 more Bitcoin. I mean, I'm not knocking it. I would love to have an extra 2 million just to buy, you know, some other Bitcoin. But yeah, let's move on. Also in popular and also controversial and also popular news, Coinbase. That Coinbase has officially announced that they have wrapped Bitcoin called cbBTC on Ethereum and Base. Let me explain. Years ago, the idea was called atomic swaps. This was in 2016, 2017, 2018. The idea was, let's say you wanted to go buy something, but you only had Dogecoin on you. Why you would only have Dogecoin? I don't know. Maybe you're crazy. So you go into a store and you ask them, hey, I want to buy that Maserati. And they go, okay, we are only accepting Litecoin and Bitcoin. And you go, oh, snaps. I don't have any of those. Wait, I live in the future. That we'd be able to basically atomically swap any coin at any given time to any other chain that we wanted to. So you'd basically be able to like not even like do a crypto swap. You would literally like imagine like it like magically transforming into another coin. This was an idea years ago called an atomic swap. That didn't end up working out too well. So basically people began to start wrapping other coins onto other chains. What you're basically doing is kind of freezing your coins in a smart contract. And then from that smart contract, you basically get like a token. Imagine going to like an arcade. You put $1 into the machine and like 4 little tokens come out, like not quarters, but like the little tokens that you can use. It's kind of the exact same thing. So you can exchange in the value of $1, but within that actual arcade. Get it? It's that same kind of thing. The issue is, or rather, these were promoted originally as Bitcoin slow, Ethereum slow, this coin slow. Therefore, you would wrap your coin, you would lock your coin into a protocol or into a smart contract or onto a chain, and you would be able to receive an equivalent amount of what you put inside of it. So in this instance, if you are like, this isn't the first wrapped Bitcoin. We've had wrapped Bitcoin for years, but Coinbase is now creating their own wrapped Bitcoin. So the idea is that on Coinbase's platform, you would be able to lock your Bitcoin into their system and you would receive a CB Coinbase Bitcoin equivalent to the amount of Bitcoin that you put into it. So you would get whatever the equal money amount was, and you'd be able to transact on Base, their other chain, with quicker transactions, but in the same value and volatility as Bitcoin. The original idea for this was kind of cool, as Bitcoin still is slow, but many years ago, before we even had the idea of Lightning, this was like, this is awesome. We can, use Bitcoin quicker. We can lock Bitcoin away. We can do so and so. It was the same exact thing for Ether and many other coins. You would basically be able, the idea was, you'd be able to, this is also when Ethereum only did 10 to 15 transactions per second. You'd be able to lock up your Ether onto XRP and basically have 5,000 transactions per second. It was something like relatively revolutionary. What a lot of companies then began to do is create their own wrapped coins to basically say, look how much money we have locked in our platform. So for those of you who haven't gotten it, Coinbase created their own Bitcoin called cbBTC, Coinbase Bitcoin. And basically they say it's available on Ether and on the Coinbase chain, but they mainly want you to use it on Base. Why? Because earlier this year, I told you when Coinbase created their own chain, that basically they were going to start to promote it as the only way to do finance. Basically, everything that's happening in the crypto space, they want you to do on Base. So we had news that they, remember magically, they were like, we have so much monies on our blockchain. And then I looked for articles, and it's basically Coinbase locking up their own money that they have on their platform into the Coinbase chain to be able to tell people, look, we have $14 billion, but it's their own money. It's the same thing with maybe a month or two ago. It was announced that Circle, the Circle coin, for some reason, Wink decided to lock a whole bunch of money into the Base chain. For those of you who don't know, Circle and Coinbase created the Circle coin. So they basically locked their own coin into the chain to say, look how many stable coins we have. Look how much liquidity. So this is what Coinbase basically does. I assume somewhere behind the scenes, they've probably locked around 10,000 Bitcoin of their own Bitcoin into wrapped Bitcoin on Coinbase's Base to say that people had, like, there's a demand for people using it. It's the same exact thing as I stated with Nucoin. There's no real demand for this. When we've heard of people actually using Coinbase's Base, it's mainly institutions, and it just so happens to be the institutions who have been working with Coinbase for a long time, who have vested interest in their company. After the announcement, Coinbase Bitcoin is tied to Bitcoin with a 1-to-1 backing, meaning that each Coinbase Bitcoin token is fully collateralized by an equivalent amount of Bitcoin held by Coinbase. What? That's crazy. It won't have its own trading pairs or order books on Coinbase because it's basically meant to be used as like the word's not collateral. It's meant to be used for like other operations, and it's not really meant to be traded, because if you wanted to trade, you would simply just trade the actual Bitcoin. It's meant to have like other purposes, if you will. The mechanics behind this wrapped Bitcoin are simple. Users can mint a Coinbase Bitcoin by sending Bitcoin to an Ethereum or Base address. The process works in reverse as well. When Coinbase Bitcoin is sent to a Coinbase address, it automatically is redeemed for traditional Bitcoin. There were a lot of people who were actually quite upset with this. I would say rightfully so, but I'm going to stay out of it. A lot of people were quite upset with this because basically we don't need like another digital copy version of Bitcoin. Like, just simply use Bitcoin. And I also think that a lot of people can maybe see through some of what Coinbase does now. It's not that it's not that I don't like Coinbase so much as they're always doing something and they kind of promote it as something that is going to help the ecosystem when it's mainly just to help them. Everything that Coinbase does and has done, and they're not the only company doing it, but they tend to promote things or do things, and they say, look, things are so much better now. They also announced that they're basically doing this to help DeFi, which is also a gigantic eye roll. DeFi was promoted by a number of cryptocurrency companies a couple of years ago as the new way to do business and transact within the cryptocurrency space. The original idea of DeFi, decentralized finance, was that no one would be at the helm of the ship. No one would be controlling it. It's kind of like a government-issued kind of thing where if some kind of change should happen on the platform, you and 38,000 other people would all get a vote. And if that vote was the majority, then it would work that way. But a lot of companies within the space now are creating anything. It doesn't matter what it is, and they're simply announcing that it is Web3 and it is DeFi, and therefore you can, and it's like, it's exhausting, like the amount of energy that they're producing just to be able to do absolutely nothing. It's almost magical in a way. This was very this was very spoken about news. A lot of people were a bit annoyed that yet another Coinbase coin equivalent thing has popped up. People are getting very tired of digital equivalents to Bitcoin. People are a little exhausted with constantly having another version of this thing that can do this exact thing, and no one, just use actual Bitcoin or work on atomic swaps or simply make other chains and stuff like that. This is just another way for Coinbase to kind of make some extra income by figuring out something else that they think that people are supposed to need or that they're telling you that you're going to need in the future when no one actually wants to use it. So, yes, very, very spoken about. That's nearly an understatement. But Coinbase has created a Coinbase Bitcoin. We're going to hear more about it. I give it the 9th or 10th of November. It feels correct about how many people are using this or how much money is flowing through it or whatever news that they need to try and tell people to try and get other people to use it. Is will probably also flounder as well. There's already, once again, multiple wrapped Bitcoins, but there's one in particular that's actually like popular. And the issue is that when these coins end up making a lot of money, like whatever company made it ends up making a lot of money, that's when other companies then pop up saying that they're also going to do the exact same thing. Just a cash grab. That's the Coinbase wrapped Bitcoin news. I think that's going to do it for this video. I do hope that you have all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever the heck you might be. I do hope it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.